People are going.
Hey, Evan.
Hello, good evening.
All right, we are at 6:30, and with that, we're gonna call the City of Orinoco Planning and Zoning meeting to order. First on the agenda for this evening, roll call. I am Commissioner Kathy Brandt Rucker. John Evans,
Here.
Grant Koser, and he was gonna be gone. Jim Phillips,
Here.
Scott Sorensen,
Here.
Dan Spring.
Here.
Thank you. We currently do have one open position. Staff, do we have Evan Munson?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Joe
Excellent.
Palin. And Jason Baker is present. Thank you. With that, does anyone have any changes for the agenda for this evening? All right, with that, I would take a motion if anybody wanted to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank Jim.
Second that.
Second, thank you. All in favor of the agenda, say aye. Any opposed? And we are moving forward, agenda passed. At this point, I know we don't have any minutes in the packet. I know we have been working, Dan, and I say we, Dan's been working hard to try and pull all those together. So
Yes.
maybe at our next time we meet, we will have a huge packet of minutes to read through and approve.
So the ones that I drew are what we're going to have because we've canceled Otter AI.
Okay,
And those of our meeting minutes weren't on there anyway to
Okay.
be able to pull off of. So we'll have to find a different route to retrieve old minutes.
okay.
So
Jason, did you have one you were looking at before that I heard you mention that there was another?
There's a few different ones Daniel and I were talking about, possibly trying to see if they'd work for us at all. So we're gonna continue to work forward and see what we can get, be able to see how they do. They've come, even in the last year, the technology on them has come a lot further than what it was when I first started, and we were playing with different ones, so,
Good.
yeah.
All right. Looking forward to that at some point in time. Public hearings, we have no public hearings for this month, so with that, legally, my philosophy is always, and you've seen the last couple of months, if we don't specifically have a public hearing that we need to be meeting for, my preference is always to save all of our volunteers' times and the city money by not having a meeting just to have discussion items unless there's a project underway or some type of update that needs to be done. But just for that, no public hearings for January. I know there were some that were going to potentially be here, but they have been delayed. So more to come on that in the future,
Yeah, it'll be in March.
March.
Mel's got all that paperwork getting ready and ready to go, so.
Thank you. With that, moving into new business, and I did let Dan know he could be first here. We've got just a discussion on meetings, dates, times. Currently, we are the second Thursday at 6:30.
currently we're the first Thursday.
First Thursday,
6:30.
so my error in writing that there.
Yep, so the tentative approved schedule by council is the first Thursday at 6:30, so we moved up a week.
Now,
To,
up to this point, we've always been the second
up
Thursday.
to this point, you've always been the second, correct?
Okay,
We still have some leniency to where if that Thursday, for whatever reason, isn't working for people, we can move it. But we needed to move it from the second Thursday. Because it was about 8 months out of the year that we couldn't get our packet items to council staff or to staff on time to get council packets out for the council meeting. So currently it's moved to the first Thursday, so moving forward from here, it'll be the first Thursday at 6:30 unless we come up with alternative times. And I think we just have to work around probably what's on the Orinoco's calendar to make sure that we don't get double booked with.
so we would be looking at the next meeting being the 5th.
Correct.
3, 5, 4, 2.
So I guess I guess the big discussion would have to be if we wanted to, if we wanted to keep it at the first Thursday, that way we're 2 weeks ahead of the council meeting. The other option would be to, push it to the third or fourth Thursday after the council meeting. And we would just be that much further ahead. So if we went that route, we probably have to have a special meeting early in March to get things onto the March meeting. But moving forward, we could then meet again. But that, I think keeping it the fifth or the first Thursday works out fine for me. I don't have any problems, but I'm open to whatever.
I just looked at it.
Check my calendar. Yeah, I'm good.
No, I think let's give that a try.
Okay.
And then if we run into a snag, and it gets to be an issue, then let's address it at that time. But if it's at least start, let's give that
Yeah, and if we do opt to jump it behind a council meeting, we either need to do it in a month where we don't have anything, but we would have canceled that meeting anyway,
Mhm.
or we need to have a special meeting prior to that month's council
Catch us
meeting
up.
to just catch up and then, yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So with that, we're currently the second Thursday is what we have been meeting. So I guess I did write that correct, but
Yeah.
we're gonna move to then
Yep.
the first Thursday is what council prefer us to move to. All right.
Is there a reason that it needs to be on a Thursday
No, Thursdays are pretty wide open.
as far as the?
As far as the room availability, it's just traditionally, I think it's just been held on Thursdays, but I'm looking here and I'm seeing like Wednesdays look pretty wide open and
Wednesdays are usually wide open, but that's a day that's busy with kids' activities, I think is traditionally been the route.
Okay.
But Mondays and Tuesdays are pretty packed with meetings, city
Sure.
meetings. So that's why they I think Thursday was the day. You can always do it at like noon too.
yeah, and like Mondays are gonna be fire and first responders, like parks and trails are on Mondays. Township comes in on Mondays, so pretty much Mondays are booked. Nobody wants to come here on a Friday.
Yeah.
And looks like some Tuesdays are open, all Wednesdays are open and a lot of the Thursdays, so. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a Thursday, it can be another day, and if we know ahead of time, we can always reschedule
I'd
a
say we
month's meeting.
go with the Thursday and give it a try.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that Grant also gets that information so he knows, and we've got potentially a new person coming on, Justin, so we'll make sure if that works with his schedule as well, but if we've got enough to at least make quorum and make sure that we can meet when we do have to.
Do we need to have a motion that, should I make a motion?
I think
We'll
we-
change that to the first Thursday of the month. They get started at 6:30, so make that motion.
Yes, thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor of changing this to the first Thursday instead of the second, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, we are moving. The next meeting will actually be March 5th. Same spot, same time, but different week. With that, moving, oh yeah,
May. First Thursday.
May 7th.
Okay, that'll still be fine. Okay, because May starts on a Friday,
Yes.
so that'll still work out.
Yep, I went through and looked real quick.
Oh,
None of the
perfect.
Thursdays are holidays, so July 2nd, I think, was as close as we could get.
Perfect. That gives us plenty of time then to get what we need to council.
Yeah. Next up, we've got February workshop dates, and there are a couple different dates coming down the pipeline here. These are, my understanding is related to the RFP that the city had requested, gosh, a year and a half, 2 years ago, that what was happening is maybe 3 years ago, this all started. The city was having trouble just navigating the code when people were coming in to just get routine requests. And the request was, the code is causing problems, so reworking the zoning code, rewriting it to bring it into this century and make it easier to navigate, as well as ultimately have some more training and some packets and different things that we can do at the end of this. So with that, we did pass it off to council last year. And so it's been sitting there for a couple months. And my understanding, and maybe Jason, you've got some more, and I can see my dates here are completely wrong. Yeah,
I
no.
just went,
So if you could tell us the correct dates and times here.
We got the 19th. And then the week after that, which is the 26th. And Dan, I'll do the calendar up, I'm trying to pull it up, but I think they're at 6:30, at least the 19th is at 6:30, I know that for sure.
February, or, sorry, March 19th. Do we have one this month?
Is it March?
No.
February? It's February. So 2/19. And what time is that one?
6:30,
At 6:30.
Yep.
And is that at this location?
yep,
Okay,
be here.
at City Hall.
And then the 26th is at 5:30.
2/26, and that one's at 5:30, also here?
Yep.
And are they also on Zoom or just in person?
Yeah, they'll be on Zoom.
Okay,
And yeah, they're kind of to go over and council, main focus is council. Like Kathy said, we redid the zoning codes and went through the steering committee, went through P and Z and is now in council's lap. And we're gonna give them time to sit down and go through them, ask any questions. Evan will be present. For sure on the 19th, here in person, but go through them, ask any questions they may have, talk amongst themselves as counselors to debate and go, no, we like this, or maybe we should change this, and whatever the case may be. Hopefully not too much. We put a lot of
yeah, there was a lot of community input
Yeah.
into this
a lot
one.
of community engagement, so but that's kind of their time to get it looked at and get it ready for my goal, hopefully March council meeting to get it done.
That
So-
would be ideal. Now, one of the things when the RFP was written, it was written to include additional training and packet, basically your top couple things that you get for requests at City Hall to make sure staff have pre-filled or preloaded packets of, you want a swimming pool or a new deck, here's your paperwork, or here's, so there's supposed to be some time. I do know though that there have been a lot of extra meetings that council has added the last couple of months that may have chewed up the budget.
Yeah, the budget's about $60,000 over what was projected.
Yeah, it was on track back then, so,
We're not getting any extra charges for anything like that, but they're basically, WSB is done. So I'll talk with Lori and see if they've got any of that stuff put together, but we'll have to kind of figure out from there.
yeah, because I know we had allocated a number of hours, and when we passed it off, my understanding is we were about as close to on budget as could be when we sent it off to council. So
And
There-
what pushed us over budget with just having
all the
her-
additional meetings,
she didn't come to any of the meetings though. I mean, she
You came to one that there
I
was.
guess
that
you-
was
I
for-
think there was an additional, community event that they did that wasn't initially budgeted for, and then there was additional time coming to meetings and doing rewrites on stuff and just additional staff time
Hmm.
after, oh, we get it back. They may not have been here, but it was, oh, this is the corrections we want done and fixed and how this should be. And so there was a lot of additional work on the back end of that ate up staff time.
was there some legal checks too off of that?
Yeah,
stuff?
and the shoreland section, that ate up a lot, cause there was a lot we had to work with the state DNR on and legal on for that section, so let's not touch that one, council members, just that one's been through the ringer pretty good.
that one's pretty black and white at the state law
Yeah.
level, that you don't have the flexibility. Even if you'd like to, you just don't have
Right.
that flexibility.
No, my understanding is our requests at P and Z were the last requests for changes that were made, because council hasn't made any changes yet. That's what these workshops will hopefully be very short
Yes.
about.
So,
Brief, but
Yeah.
so if you can make that,
There's
You're
the
welcome.
two, right? The 219 and 226?
Yep.
yeah, 6:30 then 5:30.
Yeah.
yes. And I am not sure yet if I can make those with my job, but we'll see. So 219 and 226 are the dates on those. 219 at 6:30, 226 at 5:30, but both will also be on Zoom or City Hall.
And then the RFP requests,
Is that also going to be discussed at the workshop?
there'll be two separate workshops, 319 at 5:30 and 3:30 at 5:30.
319 and 3:30, and both are at
Both.
5:30.
5:30.
Okay,
Those are the RFP workshops that are currently scheduled.
all right. So just to back all this up, so back when Sunny was city administrator and was saying that the code was getting in the way, and we basically took the community in, came out with a rewrite. That's where it's at today. Phase 2, or the next piece of that, when we were writing that and talking about it here, and talking about what the city is, to make sure that it's supported. And in looking at the contract, it had been some time since they just looked at budgeting and making sure, not that anybody is or isn't doing their job, but it's just good economic sense to have that checks and balances and to open it up to make sure we're still getting the appropriate level of service. There are things out there that Zoom wasn't invented maybe the last time they looked at this actually in depth. So there are things, but the part of it that we were concerned on was the planning and zoning support, knowing that the city does have other arms of the industries that go out and do other pieces of engineering, different pieces and that, but with us, our focus was P and Z. So that was going to be the next RFP to turn around and get that out. So now that's looking to be not just our P and Z one. The question was to council is, do you want more on it than just the P and Z? And so I think there's a discussion that's gonna happen there. Did I sum that up okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Paul asked for engineering RFP and we were talking about the zoning RFP. And so since most companies do both services, we thought that we should probably just include those two things together. And so I don't know which order these will be in, but one of these is gonna be discussing what we're looking for on the RFP. And I don't know if we'll do it independently, like zoning and engineering independently. And then the second meeting, or hopefully like the second half of the meeting, is going to be where we're going to be talking about like quantitative metrics of how we can actually look at these RFPs when they come in, because we don't want to look at just a dollar amount and say.
And we did that on our last round of RFPs when we looked at it. So we actually had score sheets that we used when we interviewed everybody. So it was not strictly dollar amount. It was also responsiveness to questions. It was, how quickly do you get back to us in a timely manner? There were a number of different factors that we looked at. So that's good. We'll talk about that then. Thank you.
Yes.
So that was really letter B under new business, and we also picked up and I think crossed off under old business. I had RFP draft discussion, so let's cross that off as done as well. Jumping around a little bit there. If we move into new business, we've got an open position. We did have an application that we received for Justin. I don't know that he is in the room this evening to take any questions. I wasn't sure if he's able to make this the second Thursday, or if he could make the next first Thursday.
I think we need to have him here, to answer questions and that, or we do anything with it. So I think that's an important part of it. So
Yeah,
Process.
let's put that off until.
yeah,
our next meeting.
and so that's fine. I will put that on for next month or whenever we meet, if there's still no public hearings. Right now, we are scheduled to have public hearings, so we should be meeting in March. But could you let Justin know that we will have him on for next month?
Sorry.
Does he have do we have as a P and Z, do we have?
We have an application that
application with
I
some questions on there?
included the application we received in the email.
Okay.
I sent out the agenda.
Are we doing any additional?
Okay.
I know that with EDA, we asked additional questions.
Usually if people have questions, they can just bring them and
Okay.
ask them.
Nothing.
Nothing formal.
You should let me know.
Have any questions? forward to him.
Yeah, if you have any you want to send in advance, let Jason or me know.
Okay.
All right, so no recommendation coming out of that yet. We'll just move that to next month. Also under old business then, we still have some open officer positions. Think about it. I think the discussion previously was once we are all staffed up and full here, all of our volunteer spots are filled, that maybe we would talk about some backups and some other positions, so. Dan, you already covered minutes of prior meetings briefly, so thank you for your work on that. Monthly incoming zoning applications and questions. So we did get a copy, and I did print hard copies for everybody. The permit reports, so November through the end of January. And knowing that we just got that this evening because of me, because I did not email that out to everybody. I just have hard copies here for y'all. But with that, I don't know, Jason, if there's any that you want to highlight, anything interesting that we should be aware of that's happened since November, permit wise. I know there was a meeting with a developer or somebody in December, a Zoom one, and that's the one that at that exact moment I had to drop off the meeting because my daughter was in a car accident, so.
I'm trying to remember what all we've done since November.
Yeah,
See, Greeners is still moving forward with their stuff. I haven't heard from them in a while, but they're pushing forward on their project nicely.
okay,
We've got the two over, like Casey's, Jungies and LDM Electric that are coming along. Still in the process, but they've been moving forward throughout the winter. They've got internal stuff going and doing. I think what else we have? I think the lots across from Casey's have been sold, those, cause that's all owned by People's Energy. So they've got that sold. And looking to build into there. I don't,
have we heard any more about that? I know they came through here briefly at one point, but I have not heard any updates one way or the
It's a
other
different one, I think, that you're
than
looking.
than the other ones. So
Yeah, this is
the lots we're
one.
looking at are the ones that are in the city right now,
Those are, that should be the one right across from Casey's. You're talking about.
Yeah.
in that cul-de-sac?
yeah,
Okay,
3 lots right across from Casey's there.
okay,
That was first Fire or first that was looking at
Fire
originally or?
Fire USA, yeah. So I know we haven't heard anything other than the lots have been sold. So they've got them sold to them and I think that project's gonna be moving forward here coming in the spring. And then Peoples is, they've got their lot north of them. They are waiting on council to approve this. So they can start moving forward with figuring out what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. So it's kind of at a standstill right now. A lot of things are patiently waiting for the zoning codes to get finished. Same with the, the CIC development, the Dragons development, the condos there on the east side here. Those are gonna be moving forward in the spring, just kind of again waiting for the finalization there. We're done a little back and forth, but it's been, well, not since last year, the end of last year, with the development agreement with them. So we're still kind of working on that, but they're again waiting for council to finish the zoning stuff so they can start properly planning their project.
Mhm.
And then there was a meeting with some folks on the, out in the township area, southwest, south of, what is it, 100th Street there on the south side of town here. And then the west. They're interested in some projects and how that might impact Orinoco. Right now, it's, met with them in the township and it's township for now. Cause obviously we still have all the stuff on the north side of 100 there that hasn't been annexed in. But I think that's a future project. We're looking 4 or 5 years down the road
I was
before.
gonna say, cause I know the orderly annexation agreement is still in place with the
Yeah.
township there, so.
Yeah,
Anything from King?
no, not a word from Linda King. That's nothing from that development. So still waiting to hear back from that. That, I think that the 6 months is up in March, if I remember right. So we're gonna look into that a little bit more here towards the end of the month and, yeah, that's kind of, and then I know there was talk east of her development, there was rumblings of a gentleman wanting to build out there. to the property to the east of there, but nothing really official, just kind of things you hear, so.
I met again with the new Hamilton owner.
For Ari's old lots, no, I haven't heard anything from those.
Okay.
So,
And then nothing with the drain field that there is over in River Park.
The last thing I got was from Joe where he was saying that he wasn't sure that anything could be done with it. So it's been kind of going back and forth on
That
We
it wasn't a
can't be.
buildable lot or that,
that it's because it was designated as green space, even though it's a drain field or was a drain field, that because it was designated as green space might put limitations on what we can do with it in the future. So that was the last email and that was 6-8 weeks ago, probably at this point. So we've kind of just let that
I
drop.
think it's
for
find a
little bit.
hard answer one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's, but we haven't had anybody like. One building company came in and talked about it and we haven't heard anything back from them about it. So I think it's just kind of like, okay, well, until we have more inquiries on it or till we know exactly how we're gonna move forward or what we'd like to do, probably don't burn up time with Joe trying to figure out exactly what we can do, so.
I think you'd want to at least get an answer to know what your options are though, one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, get a solid answer.
Yeah, we just haven't pushed him on it since he came back with that email.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we would like to see happen, but
Have we received, I know we had a manufactured home going just a year, 2 years ago. And it was supposed to, I've heard that's supposed to be temporary and have we gotten any building permit requests? I heard at some point they might be moving that off now and putting in a permanent house there.
news to me, I know that was.
So you're talking about well, it wasn't the mobile home, the single
Yes,
life. No.
yes.
Second Avenue.
That
Yeah.
one, it's, yeah.
No, I'm just curious if you've received any
I don't think
requests
that
for a
we-
building permit yet. Oh,
No, and again, with that wasn't necessarily temporary.
no, I know it wasn't, but.
It was permanent, so, and I
It's
don't think that.
permanent, it's there, but I've just heard that we
No.
might, I just curious
No,
if we got
that never
anything or
was
if it's-
As that, it was permanent, so.
it's
We
temporary.
don't wanna get into that one, okay?
That's a button for Jim, we don't.
No, I know it is, but I just heard that that's a possibility at some point,
I
so,
have not heard on that.
okay, I just, if we haven't gotten any permit requests or any inquiries, that's all I was kind of wondering.
We did have the one home that was going, what was it, across almost from DG Market. That they were finishing over there, that was done probably about 2 years ago when they split that off.
Oh, yeah,
And that one, I think that's doing pretty
It
good.
is.
So I mean, looking at some of these smaller homes that have come in and the other one over here,
yeah,
have been, I think, pretty good for
Yeah,
what
we've had a
they've been
few.
for the city.
Minor applications throughout the winter time here that people coming in doing stuff. which is-
And I think that's positive off of
Yeah.
that, so.
good.
And as far as code side with stuff, speaking of houses in that area, a little bit of code enforcement stuff, Mary Nash's property. They tore down the cease and desist. I had Randy go put up another notice. It's getting to the point now where they're kind of on their final warning to make their decisions before it's gonna have to go to council of, are we gonna force them to take down this nice shed that they did put up to store their property, but have not yet filled out the proper permits, didn't put up a permit, never should have been put up in the first place because there's no house, so council's gonna have to make that decision at some point of.
I can't remember, I know when I was on township zoning years ago, there was a shed that got put up, a brand new shed out in the township. And it wasn't done correctly. And I can't remember if it was even too close to the property line or might have been over a property line even. And they ended up having to tear down a new shed out there.
Well, this isn't that big,
Yeah.
take it down, so.
Oh, it's big enough where it's not supposed to be there without a primary.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that, but it's
Square
not.
feet, so.
But it's put on, they built it on top of a cement pad that already existed.
Oh,
They just put it up after the house was torn down, and they tried to claim it was up before the house was torn down, but I had pictures day of demolition, and you can clearly see there's no shed there on the
Yeah.
property, so. But it's one of those.
it makes sense to have a shed there. But yeah, I
they
get
put
the,
Riding mower.
what
and
came first.
everything. So they got the vehicles gone finally, so there's been a lot of progress on that property. And it's kind of that point of, where does the city want to push it? And, I'm okay enforcing it as we need to, but if the city's okay with this particular owner leaving the shed up for starting that, the problem is, what does that shed become down the road? If it becomes a hoarder place or not, I don't know. But for right now, it's full of stuff, but not, it's like you would normally fill a shed. They got I think a quad in there and a riding mower and some other stuff I saw. So there's really not much more. They do maintain the property. They're out there mowing it, and using that. So it's improved, but there's still just that one issue. So.
The driveway request, I think, was
Yeah, I think-
coming up and nothing else has been done with that.
Yeah, and that's-
From Mike.
getting on a year, so I'll probably drop that one.
Yeah, did do that one, and he's gotta figure out what he's gonna do.
Yep.
Well, with that, I've talked with Evan a little bit. I haven't gotten a formal request from him that I'm aware of for a permit for a second driveway. I know he's talked about it a few times, but.
Yeah, it was an inquiry I have here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause he bought the property, I think, and had all that stuff
Yeah, he got
changed with the.
property on that north one was for sale. Evan, were you able to look at that at all? For an opinion?
Yeah, so that lot, they wanted a second driveway, and I did double check your code here before the meeting, but section 94.20 is in your code about driveway permits, and you're allowed up to one when you're residential. And any additional driveways, you have to request a variance from the city of that. So if they do want that second driveway, they have to stop and with the city, submit paperwork, and then that'd come before you guys. Planning and zoning.
Yeah.
Because we have had a public hearing before for somebody else for a second driveway.
And it's not only that, but it was a right turn lane, I think, was a part of the
the other
question.
issue was because of, and Evan, I didn't bring this up to you, so you wouldn't have known to look for this. There is a right turn lane off of Fifth Street there that turns onto Minnesota. And that's kind of where that driveway would be at, and I don't think the county or state, is it rural, whatever.
Yeah, you'd have very close proximity turning with that driveway and then that intersection as well. So it'd be a little
Which I
bit
think,
of a mess potentially to allow that.
so I guess until he brings something forward.
So nothing more on that one. So next month you might not see that one on here since it's been about a year on that inquiry.
Yeah, the People's Energy.
And we have
part.
people's just
Right.
untitled future and I have nothing.
We just talked about that, so
Yeah,
that's done.
so we're good there. Anything else that we don't have on here? I have the dates though. 2/19, 2/26, 3/19, and 3/30 would be the workshops. And then the next meeting will be March 5th for us. So unless somebody's got something different on those dates, just to make sure we're all in agreement on those dates, I would make a motion to
I
it.
make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
second that.
First and a second to adjourn. We are at 7:03. Anyone, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We are officially adjourned 7:03.
Thank you, Evan.
Have a good night.
You too.